Hey y'all. All right, so I was sitting here thinking and wanted to share pretty much like what I was thinking about earlier. So I was thinking about what I was thinking about earlier, and I was like, you know what? People don't really talk about this, so let's talk about it. As I am dating, right? Or getting into the swing of dating, and as I am um, becoming more about me and loving myself and enjoying my own company. And well, I've always enjoyed my own company. I like being by myself. But as I'm becoming more of a whole individual, a whole and healed individual, and honestly sharing myself with other people and learning how to love on myself a little bit more, I'm at a place where I started um, to question some things, right? So part of me in my mind, as I'm talking to one particular person who I really do like, and it's scary. It's not for real scary, like boo, Halloween, that type of stuff. But it's worse. It's scarier than that because what I was thinking about was the simple fact that I am not used to having someone who is real deal all about making me happy, all about making me um, satisfied in whatever it is that we're doing, and that is different. Like even like with my parents and stuff like that. Like your parents, I'm gonna talk like I'm talking to myself. I should be using I, but I feel like that might make me a little emotional. So I'm gonna talk like holistically, us type of thing. Like y'all are me and me is y'all. So I feel like my parents, your parents, our parents. I feel like parents sometimes they're not in the business of making sure that you're fully satisfied. They're my parents definitely was in the business of making sure that you were safe enough, you had some food to eat, and that was it. Like the basics, the bare minimum. And of course for myself nowadays, like I could take care of my bare minimums. And so it's now about living beyond my means. And when I say that, I'm not talking about like, how people always talk about people going into debt because they're living beyond their means, but actually living beyond my means as not just being satisfied, but being eternally happy, right? Like always choosing to be happy, always choosing the best the best version of self, always choosing the best things that can complement who I am and what I'm doing. So that is it's moving, switching from surviving to thriving, and pretty much that is something that is new, right? I've done that in work, and that's it seems like it's easy, but when we talk about relationships and development of self, moving from surviving to thriving can be a difficult time. And there is, like I told you, I think on another post we talked about the guilt of leaving other people behind, but also the guilt um of choosing what's best for yourself. And I don't really know how to describe it or explain it and put these emotions and feelings into words. So I may sound like I'm rambling to you, but please note that pretty much as always, I'm doing this for me, and if y'all benefit from it, I'm like the more the merrier. But in essence, as I'm talking to this particular person, like I come to realize some of my own personal triggers. I come to realize I look, I'm a runner. I ain't gonna lie. Somebody asked me a question not too long ago. I can't really remember the question. Oh, my homeboy asked me a question. Was like, why do y'all choose? Why do women choose the bad guy, or why do y'all choose dudes that's not good for you? And I say, I think for myself, speaking for myself, choosing guys that I know good and damn well I shouldn't have been with, and know that the relationship was not gonna last. It's easier to get into a relationship that is beneath you because it doesn't challenge you. And somebody else told me that a long time ago. Not those respects, but when in relationship with other people, there was like it's easier to help other people get to the level that you are because you've already done that work. But when it's time for you to get to the next level, most people aren't willing and ready to actually do that work, right? They're not actually ready to put it all in 100% on themselves to elevate themselves to the next level. Um, and I think the same in relationships when choosing people, like I was saying before. When you choose somebody who you know needs a little bit of work, it's easier for you to choose that person because at the end of the day, you know that you can get that person to where you are, and you feel like working on others should be your focal point. Because people always tell you it's not about you. You need to help other people, focus on other people, be of service, do this, do that, and all of that is great when you're in a place to do that. But sometimes there comes a time when you need to focus on you and put all of your focus on yourself until the focus is on you. And that was a quote that I heard. It wasn't said just like that, but a quote that I heard a long time. Focus on you until the focus is on you was the quote. But in essence, once the focus becomes on you, then of course you have done all the work that you needed to do, and you've got into a place of accomplishment for yourself, and understanding how your journey is set out for you, where then you can be able to give unto others, right? To pour into others, but it's not from a place where you're becoming a martyr, or where you're self-sacrificing yourself and you're damaging yourself. It's from a place where you're more whole and healed, and your love for yourself is exuding, which is what's able to help heal other people and help other people to love themselves. And then as well, you become a example of what it is you're talking about, instead of being one of those people who are like, do as I say, not as I do. But tying this all back in, because I know I'm one of those people that go all the way around and about, but that's because it's partially a conversation. I realized earlier, I was thinking about this person, this individual, and I was like, maybe I'm thinking about this person a little too much, or maybe, I need to back off, or maybe I need to disappear, because again, she's a runner, she's a track star without being a track star, emotionally. But I think that is because, like what I was saying too, this person is challenging me to go to the next level versus someone who's beneath me, and I know it's not gonna last long with him. With this guy, I don't feel that it is I don't know. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if it's gonna last today, tomorrow, forever, a week from now, a year from now, 30 years from now. There's no time limit on it, and there's no rush for me to feel like, oh, it's not gonna work at all. Or there's not all of the typical red flags that you see that you ignore. And so, of course, that makes me even more in a place of trying to be cognizant to determine whether or not I've been avoiding red flags. Because usually I see the red flags and I just collect them bad boys. But it makes me more cognizant to say, are you seeing any red flags? And are you paying enough attention? Or, what I've been saying to myself this morning, choose to be happy and choose to let that shit go. Don't worry about anything else other than the fact of you being happy. And as long as you're happy, you stay with it. And as soon as you feel like you're not, then you move on. Because I feel too sometimes that a lot of us are afraid to move on because we put in so much time and effort into something. And within that time and effort, we're like, well, I've been with this person for 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, 6 months. I don't know, whatever the number may be. And you don't want to let it go because you've been putting so much work in it. And partially you're fully not taking heed to that quote that people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Because we keep trying to make everybody lifetime individuals in our lives, and some of them is just people to help teach us something. And so for me, like I used to do, I'm trying to go back to some of the things I used to do, employ some of the tactics and some of the strategies that I used to do, which is to ask a person, not really just to ask a person first. What I would do is ask myself, what is this person's value in my life? I would also ask, what am I to teach this person as they're here in my space, as we coexist and co-create? um, when things start winding down, like, is there any benefit from this situation any further? And, or why are we friends? That's even been a question. Why are we friends? And if I can't answer that question, then typically I would turn it to them and say, you know, is there a purpose that you're serving in my life? And is there a purpose? Usually I start with that. Is there a purpose that I'm serving in your life first? And if neither one of those questions can be answered, then typically I knew it was time for me to walk away, and I would say, well, this has been fun. Thank you. And I would move on. Dang, I was so mature for my age, y'all. I used to be boss in life. But I'm getting back to it. Like, I lost a lot of those strategies and tactics for myself, and trying to accommodate other people, and trying to make sure that I was, nice, instead of understanding that you don't have to be nice. You could just be kind to people, and kindness is something totally different than being nice. I don't think I did that video on here. I did talk about that in one of my rooms on Clubhouse, so definitely might bring that around, and talk about the difference between being nice and being kind. But in essence, to keep this video a little short, because I need to go and wrap it up, um, I'm in a place where I'm choosing happiness, and I know that my mind or my brain is there's gonna be questions and comments that come up. Not all of them are my own personal thoughts. They're the thoughts of those who have come before me, who have been a part of helping me co-create my life and my existence prior to this point. And now I'm being very aware and trying to make sure that I bring those things into my consciousness when I see certain patterns stick out, and make sure that I adjust it. But in relationship with other people, sometimes we have a tendency, like I said, to choose things that does not make us happy. We have a tendency to question our own happiness. So if you are one of those individuals who are starting to date, who's trying to reconstruct their life, who's trying to choose a better life for themselves, know that it's going to happen, it's going to pop up, but be cognizant of what makes you happy, and make sure that no matter what those other questions are, that you choose what makes you happy right now, because now is the only eternity that exists. I wrote that in my journal this morning. That came to me. That's a word. So I'm going to say it again before I go. Now is the only eternity that exists. So choose to be happy. All right, y'all. I love y'all. See y'all later.